Your Facebook ads don't break because you spent too much money. They break because of what you do the second that your ROAS dips. Now, I've watched accounts hit a wall at $12,000 a day and just stall. Not because the budget ran out, but because the person behind it panicked. Now, today, I'm going to give you the 4 decisions that make scaling simple. The exact same framework that I use on accounts spending real dollars. If you get these right, the wall disappears. And stick around to the end because I put this whole thing on a 1-page checklist. I'll tell you exactly how to grab it for free. So real quick, if you're new to this channel, I'm David Parrottino. I've been in the e-commerce game for 8 years. I bootstrapped my own e-commerce brand to 7 figures, and I've worked with some of the biggest names in e-commerce. I've spent over $100 million on meta ads, and I've made all the mistakes in the world so that you don't have to. I make videos like this daily so that you can stay up to date on the latest trends and never miss out on anything that changes on the platform. So if you're finding value out of this channel, I would ask you to please subscribe so that you can never miss a video. And hit the like button as well, as that really helps the channel. So with that being said, let's dive into it. The problem, this is what the wall actually looks like. It's real and it's expensive, right? Spend goes up, ROAS declines. And most people do the worst possible thing. They panic, they reset the account, they turn things off, they duplicate campaigns, they start fresh. And every time they do that, they throw the algorithm back into the learning phase and they never get past the wall. Now, I audited in a real ad account that burnt $24,000 at a 1.4x return. After more than 1,000 campaigns, 1,000 more campaigns didn't fix it. More tweaking in the ad account didn't fix it. More budget didn't fix it. The reset reflex was the entire problem. So let's fix it. 4 decisions. 1, understand the wall, why it happens. 2, set one king goal, one number to rule the entire account. 3, read 5-time windows, right, before you touch a budget. And I'll get into that. Number 4, feed your creative flywheel. Right? These all work together, and it doesn't work if you don't start at the beginning. You have to understand your wall to set your goal. You have to have a goal to be able to read the windows, and you have to be able to read your windows to feed the flywheel, right? They all work together. So let's go through these in order. Number 1, you have to understand the mechanics, or none of the rest makes sense. When you raise your budget, Meta can't just keep serving your hottest, ready-to-buy customers, right? It's like if you were to come out with a product or service, who's the most ideal person to get to buy your product, right? Probably your mom or your dad, right? That's who Meta is going to show the ads to first. So when you increase your budget, it's going to find the next most likely people to buy, right? Maybe it's your friends, your family, right? And then after that, it's your neighbors. After that, it's people down the block. It's the neighborhood next to you, right? And then it becomes more new, more cold audience. So with every increase in budget, it's a new batch of impressions that Meta has to serve to go find these people, right? And so quite simply, at some point, there's not enough of them, right? If you keep all variables constant, you just change the budget. So it pushes your impressions out of the bottom of the funnel and more up to the top of funnel where people are maybe not as aware of the product or the problem that you're solving, right? So put simply, these are colder buyers and they don't convert on day 0. Right? A quick reminder, the standard Meta attribution window is 7 days. So often these people, since they're colder, need to be nurtured, right? They need to see multiple ads. They need to get on the email list. They have to interact with the brand organically, right? So you just have to be mindful of that. And you cannot judge your new ad spend on day 0, right? So if you scale up and judge it on day 1, you're going to kill a campaign that was about to work without ever giving it a chance, right? You didn't even hit the wall. You just didn't wait. Which leads me to decision number 2. You need to set one king goal, one account-wide goal. Most people are staring at 20 metrics at once, right? 20 different targets. I look at a lot of different metrics, probably 28 to 30 different metrics, right? But I have one goal per client, per account. I have one king goal, right? I use all these other metrics as leading indicators, like cost per add to cart, cost per checkout, hook rate, click rate, cost per click, CPMs. All these things go into my decision making, but ultimately I have one goal per account, one king goal, right? Usually if you're an e-commerce brand, it's your target ROAS, your target CAC, right? If you're a service business, it's your cost per appointment, something like that, right? So it's very important that you have a king goal. And if you're a product or service like a supplement brand or a skincare brand that has a replenishable purchase rate, your goal should probably be new customers, right? So you can go even one step further, not just ROAS, new customer ROAS, not just cost per acquisition, new customer cost per acquisition. Understand the algorithm, understand that it's a 7-day attribution window on Meta. Use tools like Triple Whale and other tracking tools to supplement that and focus on your 90-day LTV to CAC. Okay, that's a little bit more advanced, but I do have clients that are in that space and I set different goals for them, right? A supplement brand, a skincare brand's at a 90-day LTV to CAC goal, right? A one-time product or like, products that aren't as replenishable. Maybe people do come back, but it's not a monthly subscription or something like that. I typically set a ROAS goal or a CAC goal, okay? So everything else, cost per add to cart, cost per checkout, hook rate, all those are not the goal. They're clues. They can help you save money on ad spend, right, as leading indicators, but they're all pointing back to that king number. And just give you an example, a brand that we managed spent $43,000 at an 8.4x return. And the reason that it stayed that clean was because every decision that I made in the ad account stayed with that king goal in mind, right? So I'm curious, what's the ROAS number that you're scaling to right now in your ad account? Drop it in the comments. I read each of them and it tells me exactly what video to make next. All right, decision number 3, before you touch a single budget, you read 5 time windows, okay? I read 30-day, 14-day, 7-day, 3-day, and 1-day, okay? So why all 5? Because one noisy day will lie to you, right? One good day, one bad day should not inform any action in the ad account, right? The 30, 14, 7-day views all show trends, right? And I like to respond to trends. 7 days shows the momentum. Yesterday tells you something just changed, right? If you just launched something, you can look at yesterday or the past 3 days. But typically I look at least 7 days, ideally 14 to 30 days, right? Then if you're barely above target, right, you nudge it. A small 10 to 20% bump. Don't spook the algorithm. But if you're crushing your target across all these windows, you've earned the right to be a little bit more aggressive with your increase in ad spend. I typically, with my clients, don't increase budget by more than 20% per day unless I see incredible performance and I like the data that I'm seeing. When I increase ad spend, I look at, again, 20 to 30 different metrics. All those are holding or staying pretty similar. And so one of the biggest mistakes that I see with people who aren't as experienced with ads is doubling ad spend because they had a good day, a good week, right? That just leads to higher costs, which ultimately will reduce your return on ad spend. And the one thing that people need to realize with ads is if you spend $1 inefficiently, you have to make up for that by being more efficient with your future spend. So you're better off not spending inefficiently than spending poorly and trying to make up for it, right? So look, before I get into the creative flywheel number 4, I will say right now, it's a subtle plug. I'm taking on a handful of clients for the upcoming quarter and for Q4. And right now I have 2 spots open. If you'd like all this done for you, send me a DM on LinkedIn, David Parrottino. I'd be more than happy to jump on a call and connect, do a full meta ad account, and see if we'd be a good fit to work together. All right, shameless plug over. Again, if you're trying to do this for your own brand, you can keep listening. Or if you're doing this for a client, etc., this should absolutely be critical for you. So, decision number 4, feed the creative flywheel. Now, here's the thing that nobody tells you. Scaling eats creative. But you do not need brand new winners every single week. That's the trap. Instead, you need to take what's working and you iterate on the 4 levers, right? The 4 levers are hooks, bodies, offers, and call to actions, right? New hooks, especially in video ads, are the first 3 seconds on a proven angle, right? New bodies are a different middle, same core promise, and new offers, reframe the deal without even touching the product. And new call to actions are a different ask on an already winning ad, right? That's one way to create a flywheel on ads that are already proven, and you can increase the volume of ad spend on that same angle or offer, right? I have one client right now that when we launched, I gave what I thought was really good creative strategy and direction, and that turned a $25 test into a $1,000 a day angle and campaign, and I think we can get that up to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a day just on that angle alone. But in order to get there, we need to continue feeding it different variations of the angle that we already have in the ad account. And I can't say too much about it, but about the actual product without giving it away. But it can be applied to almost any ad account. This concept, once you have a winner, apply these principles and create more volume, more variation, right? How do you serve more valuable impressions to your potential customers? This is a question you should be asking. Now, one trap that trips up almost everyone, your judgment. Do not fall in love with a high ROAS number for ROAS's sake, right? We have to remember what return on ad spend is. Return on ad spend is revenue divided by ad spend, right? It can be skewed by a major order, right? Say somebody buys 30 of your products, right? It can skew your ROAS number, right? So, and also a 10x ROAS on a small number of ad spend might feel amazing, right? It's safe and it keeps you small. But because if you stay at that, you're capping your potential, right? Your competitors are taking your market share, right? So Meta doesn't reward you for getting a high ROAS, right? You have to look at your account holistically and have that experience of, okay, what does this return on ad spend actually mean? And you should spend every dollar that you possibly can for every incremental profit dollar on Meta. And so sometimes a lower ROAS on a lot more spend actually gives you more contribution margin dollars, right? And that's the entire point. So you want to scale with contribution margin in mind, not the number of ROAS, right? So if you're interested, I built an actual contribution margin calculator where you can see this at different levels of ad spend. You can plug in your COGS, adds in all your merchant account fees, etc. So send me a DM on LinkedIn or X or comment calculator on this video and I'll send it to you for free. All right, so to recap the whole playbook on one screen. Number one, understand the wall, right? Colder buyers need 5 to 10 days of nurturing, right? Don't cancel a new ad because you didn't get a purchase in the first couple days. Number two, have one king goal, one account level goal that you can stay committed to. Everything else is a leading indicator or a proxy leading up to that, but you need to make your decisions off one king goal. Number three, read 5 different time windows, right? Your 30-day, your 14-day, your 7-day, your 3-day, and your 1-day, right? All these need to be taken into effect. And you want to respond to trends in your ad account, right? Don't make decisions off single day data, and you want to feed the flywheel, right? You want to have a creative flywheel in place. You want to iterate on what's already working. And one thing I didn't mention in this video on this slide is you need to continually be testing new ads, new creative, new concepts, new angles as well. I have clients that are absolutely crushing it, but we still commit to 20 to 25% of our ad spend testing new angles, new creatives, new offers, right? Because that's the way that you grow on Meta. You want to diversify, you want to always be scaling, you want to take your winners, put them into evergreen campaigns, and make your account as sustainable and as profitable as possible for the longest period of time as possible. And look, if this is clicking for you, I did a full breakdown on an account build out I built from scratch in 2026 from the very first campaign a few videos ago. I'm going to put it up right here in the corner. So click that or go to my channel and find it and go back and watch that if you want to build a new campaign, a new ad account from scratch. Now, like I promised, I turned all 4 of these decisions into a 1-page scaling checklist. So comment the word scale down below and I'll send it to you completely free. Now, if this helped, hit the subscribe button so the next time the platform shifts, which it always does, it never catches you off guard. And if you want to know exactly how Meta decides who sees your ads, watch this next video on how the algorithm actually works. It's paired perfectly with everything that we just covered, and I'll see you in there.